Professional basketball has always been about more than just scoring points or winning games. It is a stage where athletes push the limits of human performance, where emotions run high, and where unforgettable moments are created under the brightest lights. Throughout the history of the National Basketball Association, fans have witnessed countless legendary performances, buzzer beaters, dramatic comebacks, and heroic plays that become part of the sport's legacy. Yet every season still manages to deliver something new, something unexpected, something that reminds the world why basketball continues to captivate millions of fans. Last night, one of those unforgettable moments unfolded. The atmosphere before tip-off. Long before the game even began, the atmosphere around the arena was filled with excitement. Fans arrived hours early, filling the streets surrounding the stadium with energy and anticipation. Vendors sold team merchandise, fans discussed predictions for the game, and sports analysts debated which side would emerge victorious. Inside the arena, the lights dimmed slightly as players stepped onto the court for warm-ups. Music echoed throughout the building, while the crowd slowly filled every seat. Cameras flashed, jerseys waved through the air, and a sense of anticipation spread through the arena like electricity. This was not just another regular season game. Both teams understood the importance of the matchup. The standings were tight, and every victory carried significant weight as the season moved closer to the playoffs. A win could strengthen a team's position. A loss could create pressure heading into the next stretch of games. The stakes were clear. A fast and explosive start. The opening tip-off signaled the start of what would quickly become a thrilling contest. From the very first possession, the pace of the game was intense. Guards pushed the ball up the court with speed, wings attacked the basket fearlessly, and the big men battled for early rebounds. The crowd responded to every play, cheering loudly whenever their team found the net. Within minutes, both teams had already demonstrated their offensive power. Three-point shots splashed through the net, mid-range jumpers were executed with precision, and powerful dunks energized the arena. One team managed to build a small lead during the early part of the first quarter. Their offense moved smoothly, with quick passes and excellent spacing, creating open opportunities for shooters. But the opposing team showed no signs of slowing down. Their defense began forcing turnovers, which quickly turned into fast break points on the other end of the court. The momentum shifted back and forth, keeping fans on the edge of their seats. By the end of the first quarter, the scoreboard reflected what everyone already felt. This was going to be a battle. The game turns into a war. The second quarter only intensified the competition. Both teams began adjusting their strategies, looking for weaknesses in the opposing defense. Coaches called timeouts to reorganize their players, while the players on the court continued pushing themselves to their limits. One player delivered a spectacular sequence that brought the crowd to its feet, a steal at mid-court, followed by a thunderous dunk that shook the arena. Moments later, the opposing team answered with a deep three-pointer from beyond the arc. Back and forth the game went. The lead changed several times during the quarter, and each scoring run seemed to trigger an even louder reaction from the fans. By halftime, the difference on the scoreboard was minimal. Analysts watching the game could already sense that the second half had the potential to produce something extraordinary. The intensity of the second half. When the players returned from the locker room, the energy inside the arena reached an entirely new level. The third quarter began with aggressive defense from both teams. Every shot was contested, every rebound was fought for with determination. Players dove onto the floor chasing loose balls, refusing to give up even the smallest advantage. The physical and mental demands of the game were becoming visible. Sweat poured down the players' faces as they continued running up and down the court, executing plays and responding to the pressure of the moment. Midway through the third quarter, one team appeared to gain control.
A series of successful possessions allowed them to build a modest lead, and the crowd erupted with excitement. But basketball often rewards resilience. The opposing team responded with a brilliant run of their own. A perfectly executed pick and roll created an easy basket. A defensive stop led to another fast break. Suddenly, the game was close once again. The tension inside the arena was undeniable. The final quarter begins. As the fourth quarter started, everyone in the building understood that the next 12 minutes would determine everything. Fans stood from their seats, refusing to miss a single moment. Coaches shouted instructions from the sidelines, and players communicated constantly on defense. Every possession mattered now. The scoreboard remained tight as both teams continued trading baskets. One moment, a clutch three-pointer would give a team the lead. The next moment, a powerful drive to the basket would tie the score again. With 3 minutes remaining, the arena was louder than it had been all night. The final minute. The game entered its most dramatic phase. With only 60 seconds left, the score was nearly tied. Every dribble, every pass, and every decision carried enormous pressure. The crowd began to feel the intensity of the moment. Fans held their breath during each possession, hoping their team would make the play that could change everything. Then came the final possession. With just seconds remaining on the clock, the ball was passed to the player who had been leading his team throughout the game. Calm and focused, he dribbled near the top of the key while the defender stayed close. The arena fell almost silent. 10 seconds remained. 9, 8. The player suddenly drove toward the basket, forcing the defender to react. At the last moment, he stepped back behind the three-point line and launched a shot that seemed to hang in the air forever. For a split second, time itself felt frozen. Then the ball dropped cleanly through the net as the buzzer sounded. A moment that will be remembered forever. The arena exploded with emotion. Fans jumped from their seats in celebration. Teammates rushed toward the player who had just delivered the unforgettable shot. Coaches embraced each other, and commentators shouted in amazement. It was the kind of moment every basketball player dreams about. A perfect shot at the perfect time. Within minutes, the highlights spread across the internet. Social media platforms filled with reactions from fans, analysts, and former players praising the incredible play. Sports networks replayed the moment repeatedly, discussing the skill, confidence, and composure required to perform under such intense pressure. Why moments like this matter? Basketball is ultimately a game built on moments. While statistics, strategies, and standings are important, it is these unforgettable plays that truly define the sport. They inspire young athletes, energize fan bases, and remind the world why the NBA remains one of the most exciting leagues in sports. Last night's game delivered one of those rare moments, a moment that will be replayed for years, a moment that fans will talk about long after the season ends, a moment that proved once again that in basketball, anything can happen until the final second, and sometimes one shot is all it takes to create history.